Hey everybody, welcome back. David Eon here with another virtual video catalog tour. This time taking a look at the 1994 ToyBiz Toy Fair catalog. And you see Gerber there. Yes, indeed. ToyBiz once upon a time made baby products, and it is in this catalog, and I will go ahead and show them, but I'm sure that primarily you're mostly interested in the action figures. Don't worry, there's plenty of that. And again, no prices in here. Toy Fair catalogs typically don't have any prices unless they've been handwritten in by the salesman. And you see here that there's more than 70 pages. Here's a section for notes in the back. I think that's interesting. But ultimately, there's 74 pages altogether. Most of the time, these catalogs are pretty big, and very prominently, they are letting you know, yes, indeed, we have X-Men. X-Men. As we look through the catalog at the various X-Men action figures that were made available during ToyBiz's run. And ironically enough, you can still get most of these for a fairly decent price. And I used to have almost a complete run of carded ToyBiz X-Men. We move to the next assortment here. You remember these figures? Marvel Legends, Hasbro that is, has been duplicating a lot of these and putting them on cards that resemble old ToyBiz cards. This one I used to like because it's got a tray, and you can fill that tray with water and pull it out, and then his feet are standing in ice. You know, you put it in the freezer and let it solidify. Thought it was a unique concept. But they put them on cards to resemble the old ToyBiz, and they actually give you a demonstration of a card here, which a lot of these catalogs do not do, but I like when they show you what the package is supposed to look like. And although the sculpts and the articulation is better on the newer figures, they're much more expensive, and personally I'd just rather have the vintage ones. Take a look at the next lineup. They made a lot. They really did make a lot of figures, and you don't realize until you see them in a format like this and you start sifting through and you're like, wow, wait a minute, yeah, look at all these waves. Although currently, obviously, Legends has produced far more waves than ToyBiz ever did. And some of these were done in multiple colors, because I know there were KB exclusives of certain figures as well that were painted differently. There's another carded example there. You see Bishop on the card. But I like the old ToyBiz. And another run here. All of these I had on the card. I had every one of these on the card once upon a time. And no more, unfortunately. But as I have pointed out, most of these are still relatively inexpensive. Look how Colossus comes with a barbell. It's kind of silly, actually. And Gambit with his vinyl jacket. If you hear rustling in the background, it's the cats being ornery. X-Force on the card. And again, I had all of these. I forget when I stopped getting them. I had the deluxe ones too, and I do believe they are pictured in this catalog as well. The 10-inch figures, because they had a lot of variety. They really did. They had the miniature ones, the die-cast. And you could find them, especially at KB Toy Store, and especially the KB Toy Store exclusives. And there's a carded example. See Pyro there on the card. And it's a nice card. It's good aesthetics. If you went to KB, you could find them. Even the exclusives were readily available at any KB toy store. Unlike today, where an exclusive, if they say something's an exclusive, it's almost like a dirty word because you know you're not going to find it. And here's some of the 10-inch assortment. X-Force 10-inch, and then there's the big window box. And these are still relatively inexpensive, most of them as well, even the store exclusives. They produced a lot of these in the 90s. But yeah, somebody says, oh, something's going to be an exclusive to such and such store now, and you're just like, really? I won't find it. That's the first instinct. That's always my first instinct. And here's some more of the... I remember this Mr. Sinister with the big vinyl cape, and he couldn't hardly move. But yeah, I had all of these as well. These 10-inch ones. It's just really popular at the time, as well as the other, not just X-Men, but other types of characters. Oops. Get that into the right position there. And then the metallic colored ones. I think these to me look like some of the KB exclusives. These metallic color ones. Because that's usually what they would do, is just recolor the same figure. Any fans of this stuff out here? As we chug along. Taking my time with these, because when I get to the baby toys, I'm probably just going to breeze through it. Oh, look at that. Pocket comics. I remember these. Back during the Mighty Max and Polly Pocket craze, Bluebird, Polly Pocket, and then they made Mighty Max, and Mighty Max actually had an after-school cartoon, and so this concept was copied quite a bit. You see the little packet, and it have like little figures shown actual size. You see how small they are. But everybody did this after a while. Ninja Turtles had sets. Even Captain Crunch had a mail-away set. Just show you a few of these here real quick. Gives you a basic idea, and you can kind of see who they come with. It's like a little training section, and you could assemble them all together, which is demonstrated in this image, how they interconnect. So you can make the danger room, right? Is that what they used to call it? See, Cerebro Room, War Room, Sentinel Headquarters, and the Weapon X Lab down here, extras. And then, of course, the front of the package. Oops, out of focus there. The front of the package is the cover of an X-Men comic, and it looks like all Jim Lee art. And then these are the little like 2-inch die-cast figures, the Steel Mutants. Like 3 points of articulation. They're really non-functional, more for display. Something else you could pick up fairly cheap nowadays. And it's like a versus. You see Bishop versus Gambit, Cyclops versus Mr. Sinister. And then the packaging. And I believe, yeah, it had a mirrored background. Sort of. Because you know it's just plastic. Displayed well. And then X-Men projectors. And these are, there's some scenes that you might see, and they look like cuts from out of the animated series. X-Men the animated series. And essentially, it's just an action figure that you would project the image out of their chest onto the wall or something like that. And I forget the size. These are bigger than the traditional figures, but I forget exactly how big these are. And I don't think it says, and as you read through that really quickly, it doesn't look like it says what it is, the size-wise, that is. There's the packaging for this. Lots of X-Men stuff. Oh, the original Sentinel figure. Boy, does that look chunky and goofy, huh? Nothing like the HasLab Sentinel, I'll tell you what. That looks actually kind of ridiculous. But I remember the Sentinel. The pop-open chest, and you could put a figure in there. Head target ejects chest plate to reveal prisoner. Yeah. That is really goofy. And it looks like it only has the 2 points of articulation jointed at the shoulders. And the X-Men Blackbird Jet, which aftermarket, as I understand it, is actually a little pricey. I liked how it used to break it apart. You could take it apart and use it in various different ways. It's innovative. Make sure we don't skip anything. Some other vehicles. Magneto's Magnetron strike cycle there, because, you know, he needed a trike. And then Wolverine's motorcycle with claws on it, because why wouldn't it have claws? And the Combat Cave and Light Force Arena, little training areas. And over here, some of the worst dress-up sets you can imagine. That looks ridiculous. I bet you they're hard to find, still sealed in the box now, though. Usually stuff like this a company won't make too much of. So now it would be harder to locate. Page 20 already, and we're coming across into the rest of the Marvel universe and looking at Marvel basic character action figure assortments. I had all of these as well. I'm sure many of you probably did, especially if you were a 90s kid. How he's got suction cups. Punisher with cap firing weapons. They don't do that anymore. And then another assortment down here. Daredevil, Spider-Man, Punisher, full weapon arsenal, it says. U.S. agent. And then concept packaging. You can see here. You remember those cards. Let me turn to the next page. And this is just a spread for their Spider-Man assortments. And then we get into the Spider-Man figures. Basic Spider-Man villains. The Carnage figure was pretty well done, as I recall. And this Dr. Octopus looks a hell of a lot better than the one we just saw on the previous page. There's a packaging concept in the corner. And then the rest of the assortment. Kraven the Hunter, Peter Parker as himself. Probably one of the worst Kingpin action figures ever made. I don't think his legs were even jointed, if I remember correctly. And then naturally, there was a 10-inch assortment of these as well, which basically look like just blown up scale versions of the 5-inch figures you saw on the previous page. They're really almost identical, which is fine. You know, they just use the same concept and cast a larger mold. Spider-Man action playset. There's the Daily Planet. But you're looking at essentially concept art here. So I guess it was not ready for production at the time. Highlights of some of the features. Vehicles. Because, you know, there's Smythe's battle chair attack vehicle. Did he have a car in the comics? And then Hobgoblin with Wing Bomber. That's a bit more realistic because he did used to ride gliders, and you could imagine him having an oversized one perhaps. Tri-Spider Smasher. Did they make this? I don't remember this one. And that is a thing that comes up because sometimes in these catalogs you run across something that never got produced. And so I don't know if this one was done or not, but I don't remember it. Let's just put it that way. But yes, every once in a while you come across things and you're like, hey, they never made this one. More pocket comics for Spider-Man, with some classic covers. There's that Spider-Man 300, there's that Hobgoblin, Dr. Octopus. Riding the wave of mini playsets. And Steel. Again, these are the 2-inch ones. 2-inch die-cast figures with very limited articulation, typically 3 points, being shoulders and head. And this says Web of Steel as the descriptor. And then more projector figures for Spider-Man, and I assume they just used stills from the Spider-Man cartoon that was on the air at the time. I never had any of the projector figures, I don't think. I had the steel ones and I had the regular action figures. Look at this mess. Plush Spider-Man crawling on the floor. Electronic talking Spider-Man and talking Venom. 15-inch tall figures. They don't look like they move very well. Spider-Man camera. And this is one of those cameras that puts an image of the character into the photograph. Let me get in there a little better. You see Spider-Man in the background there? See what it does? That was a thing once upon a time. And Venom and Spider-Man costumes. Looks like airsoft armor. And then Botsmaster. Here's a forgotten toy line for you. Botsmaster. As well as a card example. ZZ and the boys, Dr. Hiss and his evil core bots. I bet you, I don't know what these go for. Some of these forgotten lines, they're cheaper than you might expect, but these I haven't looked up. It's different. If you wanted something different. And then there's an example of the card art. Forgotten toy lines, ladies and gentlemen. More Botsmaster. Transforming action. Jungle Fiber and Core Army bots transform from vehicle to robot. It says build your own Jungle Fiber. So essentially you buy these vehicles all separately on a card like that, and they're like Combinicons, you know, like Constructibots and things like that. You assemble them all together into something else. And here's another assortment of figures of the same type. I guess a set of good guys and a set of bad guys. Because it says Chopper Bot wiping out so-called freedom fighters. And Power Shooter never runs out of weapons, or never run out of weapons. Rapid firing ammo. Look at this thing. That's actually kind of neat. And it comes apart. I see, that's why they say it never run out of weapons, because you can take it apart and do different things with it. And it shoots shoots these soft items, kind of like Nerf. Nerf's got the market cornered though. 8 weapons in one. Super safe fun. I don't want to have safe fun all the time. Power Shooter. I wonder what the retail was on that thing. My Pal 2. Aww. My Pal 2. Electronic talking robot. Says more than 30 different phrases. How many is that? 31, 32? You can't give me a specific number? Anybody have that? How about this one? Pinball Warrior. The only pinball machine that fights back. I guess if you screw up, it shoots at you. Electronic talking. Interactive robot moves, speaks, and wipes out pinball wizard wannabes. Huh. So Tommy doesn't have a chance, is that it? And there's a selection of phrases. I don't recall seeing this before. I wonder if they made it. Pinball Warrior. That's kind of neat for tabletop pinball. Voice Bot. 2-in-1 Voice Bot attack. Transforms from vehicle to robot on command. So I guess it's voice activated. It just pops up. That's all. Responds to 8 commands. Shoots, turns, and moves. Your voice controls the action. Incredible. Oh, wow, really? Incredible 4-foot hearing range. So you got to be standing right on top of this thing for it to respond. 4 feet. I can hear you from 4 feet away. That's kind of lame, ToyBiz. 4 whole feet. I don't know. Nature's Nursery. Magic Grow Lockets. And you see we're getting into some of the girl toys and baby items. So I think action figures and such are pretty much done. More Nature's Nursery stuff. Just arts and crafts. something for the kid to do. But I'll go ahead and show you the rest of this. What is this? Makeup Boutique. Little play makeup. Caboodles makeup. Anybody had any of this stuff? More Caboodles makeup. And then minis. Several pages. They were invested in this. I don't remember this though, but you know, this isn't the sort of thing that I would have gone in for anyway. More. Wow. They really went all out. I see what they did though here. It's another jump on Polly Pocket, like they did with the Pocket Heroes with the Marvel characters. They've got little dolls and little babies and crap that go inside of these cases, and they open up into little play sets. So it's a Polly Pocket grab, or clone, or knockoff, whatever you want to call it. Wow, they really did go all in here. Look at all that. There's a wedding play set. But their heads are huge. Look at that. Guess they thought they were going to get paid. I wonder how well this did for them. More caboodles. Wow. Taking up a lot of catalog real estate, so they were probably going to do a really big push with this toy line. As you know, obviously, the more catalog real estate that has been dedicated to a run of toys, the more they were going to try to push and advertise it. So they must have really had their hooks into this. Jumpsy. Hey, Jumpsy. Oh, she has a little trampoline. I get it. I really jump. And then Pretty and Me. You can really color the hair. You keep recoloring your hair like this in real life, it'll fall out. I've known some people that's happened to. You can teach her to talk. Baby loves to talk. Does she? The first electronic baby doll that you can actually teach to talk. Baby learns her words and speaks in complete sentences, over 250 words and phrases in an average play session. Interesting. I wonder if it just copies your voice. Pooch. The good puppy. I want Pooch the bad puppy, and then they can fight. Pooch the pit fight. Sits and whines, stands up and barks, sits and barks. Reacts to 4 spoken commands with 4 separate responses. I wonder if you have to be 4 feet away for this too. Pooch, come here. Gerber products. As we're wrapping up here, you see this is page 65. We're almost at the end. And I'm sure that, you know, primarily people are more interested in action figures as I go through these catalogs, but I'll go ahead and show you what's in here anyways, may as well. This basic little baby and toddler items. Nothing too fancy here. Some crib toys. That's very reminiscent of Mattel pull string talking learning toys right there. It's a telephone. Laptop, I guess. It says baby activity computer. Yeah. Oh, and monitors. Monitoring equipment. Not something that you would have expected to see from ToyBiz, is it? Including a handheld kit. That had to have been expensive in 94. A handheld receiver for a camera. I wonder what they charged for that. Gerber nursery stuff. See a toddler at play here. Tub time, loving tears, feel better, potty time. And a couple of examples of retail display units. That'd be kind of neat to have. And the rest of this is just for notes. Nothing else to see, ladies and gentlemen. Rekindle any memories in here? You have any of this stuff growing up, or anything here that you never realized that they had made, or that sparked your interest? Do you have any of this now? Any of these toys that were shown? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments section down below. Please do give the video a thumbs up. Share it if you can. Much appreciated. If you're new to this, I have done several vintage toy fair catalog tours like this, where we just flip through the catalog and take a look and reminisce. So if you find this interesting and you're new, you can look at our playlists or look through our archives, and you can find other catalog tours from other companies: Hasbro, Ideal, Kenner, Mattel, Gabriel, and you may find those interesting. So if that's it, then what more can I say? But thanks for watching, and we will see you again soon.